नियतम कुरु कर्म त्वम कर्म ज्यायो है कर्मणा शरीर यत्रापि चतेन प्रसिद्धेद कर्मणा. So you must perform karma as has been defined in the scriptures. What I've told you is what is defined in the scriptures. So you must perform karma as has been defined in the scriptures. Because performing karma is definitely superior to not performing karma. And performing karma as has been described has to be, the karma has to be performed because even the body cannot be maintained without performing karma. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत् लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धना तदर्थं कर्म कौन्ते मुक्त संग समाचर. So you must perform karma as a duty, as a yajna. Consider karma to be a yajna. I'll come to the importance of yajna a little later in this series of lectures. But karma must be performed as a duty that you've got to do it and you've got to do it diligently. The duty has to be performed diligently and not to just pass off the time. The person who performs karma only for the self binds the person to the world. So, when you're, for example, working in your profession, then you should not work for your own self. You should also think about the owner of the company and you should think about your co-workers and then you should perform karma accordingly and perform it diligently so that your company should not suffer, your co-workers should not suffer, and in that manner. You should not think solely of your own self. You should think about others also around you when you are performing any karma. And therefore, O son of Kunti, you perform the karma without attachment to the senses and as a duty. If you do it in this manner, then it will be called a karma yoga or it will be like performing a yagna. Okay. तस्माद् सक्ता सततम कार्यम कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्या चरण कर्म परमा परमाप्नोति पुरुषः. For this reason, you must perform karma without getting attached to the karma and have a good conduct. Because if a person is just performing karma as a duty and is not doing it for the results, then that karma itself is powerful enough to get you the salvation. Here, Bhagavan Krishna is describing the power of karma. He is saying that performing karma without getting attached and with a good conduct, we'll come to the conduct a little later in this series, which is very, very important in a person's life. Because if you are performing the karma as a duty, if you perform a karma as a duty, then you will perform it diligently and thinking about your co-workers. Then such a karma performed is powerful enough to give you salvation. Understand, friends? Karma is so powerful. If you're just doing it for the money and more money and more money and more money, and not thinking about performing karma as a duty, then you are not going to get anywhere. But if you perform it as a duty, then it may give you salvation itself. You go to the next verse. Nirashira tachittatma त्यक्त स्व परिग्रह शारीरम केवलम तब कुर्वन्ना prati kalvisham. The one who has complete control over his physical body and mind and has detached oneself from any kind of material objects. Such a person is a yogi and he is void of desires and continues to perform karma related to the physical body. Such a person is not subjected to sorrows. Meaning a person who has complete control over the physical body, that means over the senses, and has control over the mind. We'll come to that how to control your mind later, and has detached himself from the materialistic world. Such a yogi is void of desires, and such a person is not subjected to sorrows. This is a fact if somebody tries in real life. Yaddachala santushto dvandatito vimatsara samasiddha vasiddho chakityapi na nibadde. The person who remains satisfied in whatever comes to the person who is devoid of jealousy and conflicts, who is not overly joyed or does not get into depression when the efforts are successful or are not successful. Such a person is not bound by karma. So if a person is satisfied with whatever is coming to him or her by way of nature, who is devoid of jealousy and conflicts in life. We'll come to the details of all these later. And a person who is not overjoyed or does not get into depression in favorable or adverse situations, such a person is not bound by karma. Not bound by karma means whatever karma he is performing as a duty, he will not have to bear the consequences of that karma. Okay. तत्सङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसा यज्ञाय चरिता कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते. The person whose all bondages are gone, he is free. The person whose consciousness has established in the knowledge and he or she is performing karma as an offering to God. Such a person's karma is destroyed. He will not get any results from those karma. If you are offering, if you are doing your karma honestly, diligently, and do it as an offering to God Almighty, then such a person's karma is destroyed. It is no longer karma. You will not have to face consequences later in your this life or future lives. Brahmanyadhyay karmani sangyatyaktva karotiya लिप्यते न स पायेन पद्मपत्र निवाम्भसा. A person who dedicates all karma to the God Almighty, Bhagavan Krishna, or Brahma, gets detached from the bondages of the world. And then when he performs karma, he remains detached from sins also. It is just like water which does not mingle with the lotus leaves. So, if a person is dedicating all his or her karma to God Almighty, Bhagavan Krishna or Brahma, he will get detached from the bondages. Kayen mansa buddhaya kevler indriya yarapi yogina karm kurvanti sang tyaktavat shuddhaye. So, if a person is performing karma and have detached themselves from the bondages, then they are performing karma only for the purification of senses, body, mind, and intelligence. So, if you are performing karma in a detached manner, but as a duty with diligence, such a karma is actually purifying your senses, body, mind, and intelligence. युक्त कर्म फलम त्यक्त्वा शांति मापनोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्त काम कारेण फले सत्तो निबद्धते. So such a karma yogi, when they relinquish the expectations from the karma, okay, you have performed karma diligently, but you do not expect anything from the karma that you have performed, they have reached the state of permanent peace. So when you relinquish the expectations from the karma you have performed, you have reached a state of permanent peace. But the persons who have expectations from all their karma for certain results, they remain bonded. Niyatam sangrahit rag dveshata kritam afal pain suna karm yattat satvik muchyate. Now Bhagavan Krishna is describing as to what is sattvic karma. Friends, it's very important to understand this because general understanding of sattvic is different in almost, I think, all of you. Bhagavan Krishna is saying that karma that is performed in accordance with the scriptures, which is void of ego, that I have performed the karma, which is void of expectations of results, and which is performed without love or without enmity to somebody. Such a karma is sattvic. यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म सहांकारेण वापुना क्रियते बहुलायासम तद्दाजस. But the karma that is performed for the desire of pleasures or to satisfy the ego or with lot of difficulties and problems, such a karma is rajas karma, the rajasic karma. Anubandham shayam hinsa मनपेक्ष्य च पौरुषम मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्ता मसमुच्यते. Karma that is performed without consideration of results, losses, violence, and capabilities, and is done only for desires. Such a karma is tamasic karma, tamas. Okay, friends, so in these verses I have tried to make you understand how the karma must be performed. Because actually understanding the gati of karma, having the full understanding of karma is very, very difficult. And the scripture says that when Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh themselves have not been able to understand the gati of karma, how we humans can understand. But we can always make an effort towards understanding the karma. So with this we go to the next lecture, and that will be about misconceptions in karma.